Hello, people. Welcome back to the channel. I hope everyone's doing really good and staying safe out there in the crazy world. And in today's live stream, we are going to be talking a little bit about all this Rick Grimes stuff and what that means for 2026. Because, I mean, it is big news, right, to have Rick Grimes come back in The Walking Dead. I mean, obviously, it's huge news. So I'm going to give it just a little bit of time, see if we can get any people in here to watch and enjoy the discussion. Usually it takes people around 3 to 5 minutes to hop in here. So if you are watching this as a VOD and you want to skip ahead 3 minutes, go right ahead. What about T-Dog spinoff? I mean, hey, never say never, I guess. That'd be something. Imagine. But yeah, I'm not gonna be live for too long, guys. We're just chilling out, having some good vibes, having some good conversations. Hopefully you guys are all doing good. Daryl's overrated as a character. Daryl's my favorite character ever. What do you think's overrated about him? In my opinion, I don't think there's very many overrated characters in the show. Like, I'm trying to think who'd be overrated. Maybe Carol. There's a lot of Carol fans, and I never really liked Carol that much, to be frank. Wasn't ever a huge Carol person. Well, the thing is, when you have a show like The Walking Dead that was so Rick centric for a long time, and then when Andrew Lincoln decided to leave, you know, um, it's just kind of the way it would work that the second next character, right, would kind of pop up and become the face of the show in a sense, right? Since Rick was always the face, just kind of is the way it is. Yo, what's up, Conlord? If Daryl ever does go out, how would you want it to happen? Daryl's always been my favorite character because I see a lot of myself in Daryl, you know. I've always really liked Daryl because he's very selfless, right? He always puts everybody else above himself. Yeah, I mean, Daryl never really cared about himself in a sense, right? He always did the dirty work. He was like the guy that did this stuff that even Rick had a hard time doing. If you guys remember back in season 2 of The Walking Dead, whenever he was going to go put down Dale and Rick was having a hard time doing it, right? And Daryl kind of took the gun and said, here, let me do it, right? And then boom, right? He did it and had to, put Dale down, right? Like Daryl always was the guy that, you know, did the stuff that other people had a hard time doing, right? And so yeah, I think for me, I've always loved Daryl, more than anybody because he's not a perfect character, but he's a really great character to me. I really love a lot of the Walking Dead cast. I never really had any problems with anyone, but if Daryl went out, man, I don't know. I just don't know. I would never want Daryl to go out, to be honest, guys. I really want the ones who live season 2. It probably might happen, to be honest. Derek says, I'm so excited to see Rick again. Yeah, no, I mean, I am too. Rick is a great character. Rick is my favorite character. Daryl is the reason Rick is in the CRM. Daryl is the reason Rick is in the CRM. What makes you say that? How would is it because of the whole him leading Rick away on the bike thing? And then Rick, I mean, to be fair, I mean, I feel like you could say that, but there's so many factors, right? Yeah, I mean, anything is possible. If someone's truly done with a character, they would kill him off, I think, for like shock value. The Walking Dead is never afraid of shock value. So, I mean, if Andrew Lincoln or Norman Reedus was truly done with a character, then I don't see why they wouldn't kill him off. I see what you're saying, but at the same time, Rick could have just got on the bike with Daryl and went back. You know what I mean? He could have done he could have went another path, right? Like, I don't think it's fair to just blame Daryl solely for that and say, yeah, he's responsible, right? What do you expect from Daryl Dixon season 4? Um, I don't really know what to expect, to be honest, because knowing that it's the final season kind of makes me feel like, well, what are they going to do, right? Like, what's the storyline going to be now? Is it just going to be getting back home? Are we going to have some scenes in Daryl Dixon season 4 in America, right? Are they going to film some of it in America and stuff and have, you know, a couple episodes here? I don't know. I look at it in an interesting way because, okay, say Daryl Dixon season 4 is, 6, 7, 8 episodes long, right? I don't know. I don't see how they could make Daryl Dixon season 4 that many episodes of just them trying to get back home. I feel like they might get home and then like maybe do an episode in America or something with Rick or something. I don't know. Um, I think it was odd that Rick wanted the bridge to unite communities, but it was his downfall. Yeah, I mean, he was just doing that stuff for Carl. He was very focused on Carl, because Carl died. Daryl is responsible for Glenn and Rick. I don't agree though. I don't really think that Daryl is responsible for Rick. There probably will be something about Rick in the finale. I think there will be. You could say that Daryl is responsible for Glenn. People still love him, but if characters like Carol made mistakes, Alpha, people quickly hated her. Um, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, Carol's never been likable to me, so I never really paid too much attention when I watch shows. So here's what I do, right? Like when I watch shows, I pretty much isolate myself from like biases or like the fandom and stuff like that. Like when I was in the heat of watching The Walking Dead, I never really paid attention to who liked who. Obviously, I would watch YouTubers like Movie Idol and Travis Chan and Make a Path Presents and stuff like that. And I would get like what I would consider like a general like consensus for who's a great character, who's not a great character. I did kind of see people hating on Carol in season 10, but Carol was pretty annoying in season 10, and it wasn't just like because of one thing or another. Um, I think Carol just made a lot of like bad decisions, and I definitely think Carol was annoying in season 10 for sure. Like, see, that's the thing, right? Like, I think Carol was pretty much annoying for all of season 10. It wasn't just one decision she made, like when she almost got Connie killed, right? Like that wasn't even just it. It was like she tried to kill Alpha at the spikes in season 10, episode 3, and it was just like she was just frustrating in season 10. You know what I mean? She was just annoying. She didn't really listen. She was tweaking out on the caffeine pills, just not making good decisions, right? I don't know, she seemed like very emotionally like vulnerable, kind of like weak almost in season 10, in my opinion. So it's just different, right? Like I can't remember a season where Daryl was just like making constant poor choices the whole season and being annoying the whole season. Or like Daryl might have had some bad moments, like getting Glenn killed, or even if he was responsible for Rick, which I mean I don't really think he is because it's like Rick still could have done something else. I mean Rick chose to lead the walkers away right, over the bridge, which ultimately ended up not working. Um, right, like in and of itself, he had to blow the bridge up. So like Rick's plan failed. That was kind of on Rick because Rick probably would have done that either way, right? Um, I do think that Daryl was responsible for Glenn. Hate to say it. I mean, he was. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's not to say that the characters are perfect or the characters like Daryl, for example. He's my favorite character. I mean, he's just a guy. He's just a human being in the end, right? Like he's not a perfect character, but at the same time, he is my personal favorite character. But that doesn't mean that he's my personal favorite, but that doesn't mean he's perfect, if that makes sense. Um, but Rick didn't even talk about Daryl and the ones who live. Um, they become enemies. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I've had that brought to me a couple times, and so I don't see that happening just because kind of would be no point, right? It would be one of those things that fans would have a very hard time believing, and it would be very difficult to execute that at a high enough level to where it seems like somewhat believable or like even worth watching, right? Like if Rick and Daryl became enemies, it would be like stupid because it literally makes no sense. Those guys have been through so much. When you go through those type of things with people, it really builds a lot of like character and connection, right? Like you're not gonna hate each other ever. And they're not bad people, so they're not gonna make bad decisions to make each other hate each other, right? That would be one of those things where like AMC has to be really down bad when it comes to like creative writing. That'd be like a last resort. Rick and Daryl hating each other would be a last resort. They're way more likely to do a Daryl and Rick spinoff than they are to do Daryl and Rick hating each other, in my opinion. Do you would have loved it when Merle, Shane, or T Dog survived? Cody Whitaker, you're crazy for saying that, my boy. I'm not gonna lie. Welcome to the stream, though, man. Hope you're having a great day, Cody. Um, would I have loved it if Merle, Shane, or T Dog survived? T Dog, T Dog was a cool character, but he is what I consider an easily replaceable character. T Dog was never that cool. He never had a ton of screen demand, right? Whenever you saw him on the screen, it was never like, oh my gosh, T Dog's on the screen. You know what I'm saying? Like Shane had that. It's like an aura. You know what I mean? Shane had that. Shane had crazy aura that T Dog didn't have. When Shane was on the screen, you wanted to watch it. You know what I'm saying? There was something about Shane and John Bernthal as an actor and just the way he played that character. There was a lot of screen demand there. Whenever you saw him on there, it was like, oof, Shane's here. Let's shut the hell up and watch this scene, right? I like T Dog, but he's very much so just like a seasonal or like 2 or 3 season character to me. That doesn't have as much screen demand. Like even someone like an Abraham, I think, has a lot more screen demand and aura than T Dog to me. More character. They're more funny, right? I find them funnier. You know what I'm saying? The more charisma. You know what I'm saying? T Dog was a good character for the early seasons, but I think a character like T Dog would not have worked as well in the later seasons of The Walking Dead. He was more of a product of the fact that the show was kind of just starting and it wasn't really the ideas didn't need to be that crazy to get people's attention. If you look back to the season 1 through season 2 storylines, those were very like dull storylines, but they were dull from like a legitimacy standpoint of how it was happening, right? What was actually like factually going on. But they were not dull from a reception standpoint, right? We all loved it. We all received it well and thought it was great. It didn't seem dull because it was the beginning. There was beauty in the simplicity of the early stages. You see what I'm saying? That would not work. They can't do those same storylines in 2025 and have it work. It would be boring. But back then it worked. And I think T Dog he was like a flower that bloomed in that environment, right? Um, he was kind of he's like a system player. If you guys know anything about sports, right? He was kind of like a system player, like Greg Popovich with the Spurs back in basketball. He's like a Danny Green. What do you think? Which reunion will happen first, second, and last? Rick Morgan, Rick Negan, and Rick Daryl. I think the Daryl Rick reunion will happen first. They could throw us a curveball and have Rick and Morgan reunite first, and then have Daryl come in later. I kind of thought that was gonna happen. Maybe I don't know, But I think right now, the way I'm feeling from what I'm hearing, I would say Rick and Daryl first, Rick and Negan next, and then Rick and Morgan last. I think because Morgan's on such a hard journey, there's to find Rick, right? From Fear. His journey is going to be a lot longer and a lot more difficult, right? To find Rick. I'm pretty sure. I don't know where Fear ended off, but just logically speaking, I think that makes sense. Imagine GTA 6 before Rick and Daryl reunion because GTA 6 drops May 2026. Yeah, we're going to have GTA 6 before Daryl and Rick reunion for sure. Conlord says, any chance Daryl bumps into Rick's brother from the comics in Spain? I mean, it's always a chance, yeah. I mean, it could happen. I definitely think they're headed that direction potentially. Guys, don't forget to drop a like on the stream for me, man. Don't forget. And also, guys, don't forget, memberships are live. If you guys are interested in join the memberships. I want to see you guys with that 10-year badge 10 years from now. Cody Whitaker says Maggie is going to start calling Negan daddy in season 3. Wow. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised. And I don't even know if I would even be that against it. I feel like as a fan base, The Walking Dead is kind of over Glenn's death now. Like, we're kind of over it, right? At least I am. It was really sad. I'll never forget it. I'll never forget Glenn as a character. But aren't we kind of all over the whole Glenn situation now? I mean, it's been like 10 years since he died, you know? Try and read the comics. Yeah. If you're going to read the comics, what I would recommend is try to go into it with a different mindset. Like, when I started reading the comics, a little bit, I went into it thinking, like, yeah, this is the Walking Dead that I know and love. But at the same time, you need to realize that it is different, right? It is a different thing. I really would love The Ones Who Live season 2. I didn't watch Daryl Dixon in Dead City, but I'll watch The Ones Who Live. I want watch next Daryl Dixon, maybe Dead City 2, because I don't like Negan and Maggie. I would watch Daryl Dixon. Daryl Dixon's good. Daryl Dixon's a lot better than Dead City, in my opinion. That's just from an OG Walking Dead fan perspective. Everyone has different tastes, and everyone has different things that they like in a show, right? Obviously, that varies per person, per mind, right? We all receive things differently in our heads. But I personally would say, from an overall hype standpoint, right? Like, just from an overall hype standpoint, The Ones Who Live, for me, brought back a level of like excitement and like not knowing what was going to happen. Hearing that it was just a limited series, not really knowing what was going to happen, like it brought back a level of hype and anticipation that I haven't felt since the Walking Dead original series, man. Probably like the season 7, season 8 days. My heart was beating out of my chest during that first episode of The Ones Who Live. I didn't feel that in Daryl Dixon because I know Daryl's not going to die in that show. At least, but here we are, interesting points. What if Daryl dies in season 4, What if we never get a Daryl and Rick reunion? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that would be a huge mistake, I think. But like, wouldn't that be another one of those like, Carl death moments where we just realize that it's The Walking Dead and, happily ever afters don't really exist in this world, right? I mean, in theory, it would be interesting. Daryl's story is over, in my opinion. Thing about killing Daryl off, though, and I'm not just saying this from a Daryl's fan perspective. Killing Daryl would be a huge mistake because a lot of people would literally quit watching the show if Daryl died. Daryl has had a crazy impact on the show, and there were many, many years. For a long time, Daryl Dixon was like the most popular character, even more popular than Rick, at least from like a trends or like um, from like a trending standpoint on socials and all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like the whole "if Daryl dies, we riot" thing. Like that thing is true, bro. 100%. If you're gonna kill off a big character, Daryl is the only reason I'm still watching. I mean, I feel you. I'm the same way. I love Daryl more than anything. Sorry, guys, had to drink some water. Is it true Rick draws Shane's face on the screen episode 3 of The Ones Who Live? People say that. I don't remember seeing that. Glenn Carl. Yeah, I don't remember seeing Shane. The reason why Daryl's story is not going to be over is because Norman Reedus is down to play Daryl for a long time. Yeah, Daryl, 100%. I agree 100% with Mayhem. Daryl's not going to get killed off until they're done with the show. Like the current era of The Walking Dead as we know it. There's going to be a new generation show with Judith and RJ and all that stuff. That's going to happen in probably like the next 5 to 10 years. Once that happens, I don't even think then they would kill off Daryl because the cameos would be sick. Imagine like a scene. Imagine a scene. Dude, they're going to play off our emotion, guys. Listen. They're going to play off of our emotions. Can you guys just listen to me for a second? Close your eyes. Imagine a scene where there's an older Judith in her mid-20s, okay? Almost 30 years old Judith. She's out in the world and she's like in a bad situation. And then Daryl goes and is trying to help her, right? Like Daryl's trying to like track her down and help her. And just imagine a scene where she's like trapped up against a fence, just like Rick in season 3 of The Walking Dead. You guys remember when Rick was hallucinating and seeing Lori and he was trapped on the outside of the fence at the prison, right? And then Rick had 3 zombies on him and then an arrow just goes right through the zombie's head. You guys remember that? They're going to do some shit like that. It's going to be like a callback to the old days of The Walking Dead. There's going to be a scene where there's going to be like an older Judith in her 30s or like late 20s. She's going to be like completely screwed and Daryl's just going to save her. And it's going to be like a sick callback to the original series. We're all going to be like, oh, hey, that was a cool moment. You know what I'm saying? That's all going to be the same thing. Rick's show can be coming. They're filming Dead City and Dixon right now. Can or cannot? I think anything can happen. Because it wouldn't make sense if Rick draws Shane's face. Yeah, I don't think he was drawing Shane's face. I don't think I ever saw that. That doesn't make any sense. Would you rather have Daryl's snake jerky or his raw squirrel? Give me the snake jerky, bruh. If they kill Rick, I'll quit. I only watched season 9, 10, 11 because of Daryl. Without Rick, it was abuse for me. Yeah, I mean, I get it. I kind of liked season 9, 10, and 11 because I wanted Daryl to kind of become... I kind of wanted Daryl to become the leader in a way, you know? Like, well, it's not that I wanted Daryl to be the leader, but I was, like, content with Daryl being the lead because I love Daryl. I think he did a pretty good job, especially with this Whisperer storyline. I thought that stuff was cool. Aw, Butch. If they kill Rick, oh, I just read that. Any chance you're a fan of the Scream horror movies? Not really. No. I've seen them, but I'm not like a fan necessarily. Cody Whitaker says the biggest mistake was killing Morales. They could have used him for the final death in season 11 or keep him for a spinoff. This guy, Cody is a major troll. Call me crazy, but and maybe this is an unpopular opinion, right? You guys can let me know if I'm crazy here, but this is just my opinion, my thoughts, okay? Personally, I was actually really disappointed with Rosita dying in season 11 because I think Rosita has a lot of potential or had a lot of potential as a character still. I was really hoping that maybe we would see like a Rosita spinoff or something. I was really disappointed with Rosita dying. I would like take Daryl Dixon. Like I would much rather have Rosita in Daryl Dixon than Carol. Maybe that makes me a crazy person, but I would much rather see Rosita um in Daryl Dixon than Carol. I don't like Carol. Carol's not it for me personally, guys. No lie. Yeah, I don't think Daryl's gonna die. I don't think Daryl would die his own show. The Walking Dead for 15 years is useless. They should have ended it in 2026 when Rick and Daryl reunite. Um, but I think it ends 2027, 20. It's not going to end in 2027 or 2028, bro. I can pretty much guarantee you it's not going to end those years. I can pretty much guarantee you that The Walking Dead's not ending in 2027 or 2028. Well, the thing is, The Walking Dead's not going to end because it's too popular. There's no reason for them to end it. The characters and the actors are still too young. It would make no sense. Andrew Lincoln's only 52. Like Lauren Cohan is like what 41. I mean, she's extremely young. They're gonna keep Maggie alive for a long time. Um, Jeffrey Dean Morgan is like 58, I think. Norman Reedus is 56, I believe. Like that's old, but it's not like those characters are old, right? But it's not like we have to end the show because they're getting too old type shit. You know what I'm saying? It's not that old. Especially with Andrew Lincoln, bro. You got Andrew Lincoln at 52. I mean, he might as well be in his prime. I mean, Andrew Lincoln is looking great. Have you guys seen Andrew Lincoln in recent photos? He looks incredible. He looks like he's in shape. Have you seen clips of him in um, the Cold Water show? He looks fantastic. They will pay Andrew Lincoln however much money he wants. And Norman Reedus is already down to play Daryl until he's like 75. They're not going to end the show in 2 years. I can literally promise you. The thing about The Walking Dead now is that Scott Gimple is literally going to be able to do whatever he wants to do with those characters. Because essentially now, like, it's all original content, it's all original storytelling from his mind on what he wants to do next with the Walking Dead universe, right? Like, there's no comic books to go off of anymore. So he's going to be able to do whatever he wants to do. And there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff within the next 5 years. But yeah, no, The Walking Dead ending in 2027. I mean, that's just practically like a year away. 1 to 2 years away. I mean, there's just no way. We might not even have the Rick show by then. That's the thing. We might have the Rick show next year, but they might start filming the Rick show next year and drop it. And it could be the Ones Who Live season 2. We could have the Ones Who Live season 2 coming out in 2027 or 2026. But the whole like Walking Dead universe as we know it, the current state of the Walking Dead universe with these characters being ended within 2 to 3 years is just like impossible. No way. They would not do that. Cody Whitaker says, I would love to see Dwight and Sherry on Dead City. Um, yeah, that'd be cool. Daryl Dixon ends with the reunion. Season 4 comes out 2026. Yeah, I think Daryl Dixon's going to end with the reunion for sure. I think so as well. I do think we are going to get the Rick and Daryl reunion next year. Um, and it's going to be awesome. But even then, people who are thinking the Daryl and Rick reunion is going to be like the end of The Walking Dead. It's like that. You guys don't understand how money works. They're not gonna end The Walking Dead on the Daryl and Rick reunion, brother. You have to realize this is entertainment, but most importantly, it's a business. You know what I'm saying? The Walking Dead, AMC, all this stuff is about money. It's not about anything else. And when you have tens of millions of fans across the world that still love a show, still watch a show, they literally have no reason to quit. The fan demand is still there. They're still making boatloads of money from The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is AMC's most popular show, most popular IP. It's not going to just stop, right? A reunion's not going to stop that. You know, I mean, it's going to continue it. If anything, it's going to give them more fuel and more gas to continue it, right? Um, I hope so. At least they're just ignoring people. No, the reunion's going to happen for sure. We know the Daryl and Rick reunion will happen. Um, they're gonna do it at the end of Daryl Dixon season 4. It's gonna happen. I can literally almost guarantee you guys the reunion will happen at the end of season 4, and then that's gonna set up a new show where everyone's back together, in a sense. You guys have to remember they film this stuff at specific dates for a reason, and we don't know those reasons because we don't know the plans. We don't know the larger scale blueprint of AMC right now, right? So when they're filming Dead City, right? Like Dead City could drop next year as well. Dead City season 3 is probably going to drop next year, and that'll probably be the last season of Dead City. And I bet that Maggie, Daryl, everyone's gonna get back together again. I believe, maybe not, but I believe so for sure. It's gonna. I think that's the plan. I heard they plan to put Glenn, Merle, Beth to season 2 finale Daryl Dixon, but they didn't. I don't know if it's true or not. I doubt it. I doubt that was true. To me, this doesn't sound true. Glenn, I guess maybe it makes sense because Daryl kind of got Glenn killed and Beth and Merle. I mean, it could make sense, but that was probably one of those things where like maybe it was talked about for a second, but like I don't think it was ever planned where they actually like did they actually hit up Stephen Yoon and Emily Kinney and Michael Rooker and say, hey guys, we want you to come back for Walking Dead Daryl? I mean, probably not. Maybe it was talked about. Do you think what Carol told Daryl on the radio during the boat scene will come into play? Her hiding Rick's return? I mean, my thing is like, is there any real logical reasoning why Carol would hide Rick's return? Do we have any information on why that would make sense? Could she maybe be scared that she didn't know when they were going to make it back, or like maybe she didn't know what happened to Rick whenever she was gone, and she didn't want to say that he was back home and get him excited just to let him down after everything he's been through, and she wanted to wait till actually he made it back home. That would kind of make sense, right? They should do a 12th final season called The Walking Dead Forever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really see him bringing back the Walking Dead original series as much as I want them to do it. I mean, for me as a fan, guys, that's the clear cut. That's the clear cut thing to do. Like, if people ask me, like, if people ask me, what do you think? I have a lot of people ask me like Q&As and stuff. What do you think they should do for like The Walking Dead? I always tell people, bro, what they need to do with The Walking Dead is just bring back the 12th season. Bring back the original series, do a 12th season, do a 13th season, a 14th season, a 15th season even, right? I'd be fine with that. Do like 4 more seasons and then end it, right? I'd be fine with that. I think 4 more seasons would be gas, but I would love to see like 3 to 4 or 5 more seasons of Rick and everybody back together with original storytelling. Anything's possible. Anything's possible with that group of people. You know? Carol is so weird. She's hiding something from Daryl. Yeah, I don't. That whole thing pisses me off. That whole thing pisses me off because it's like she clearly was not talking about. It wasn't a person. It was a feeling. Like, or what did she say? It wasn't a person. It was just something. What did she say? That cringy ass garbage. That was not real. Saying blank came back and just leaving it as that. Yeah, something's off with that for sure. She also isn't in a rush to get home. Maybe something happened. Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking too. maybe something did happen. Like maybe Rick came back, and then maybe that's like setting up the new thing of The Walking Dead, right? Like maybe Carol came, but why would she send them back to the Commonwealth if shit was bad, right? Why would she send Ash and Laurent back if things were going, if shit was hitting the fan and horrible things were happening, right? I don't know. Maybe it was something else. I don't freaking know, man. Kind of getting into rabbit hole territory. I mean, we kind of are, but at the same time, I'm here for it, man. Look, I'm 25 years old, guys. I've been watching The Walking Dead since I was 10 or 11. It's been a part of my life for more than half my life. In the end, I would really like to see them continue the show. I would really like to see them continue the show. And if we could ever get the core group back together to kill zombies and kick ass for like 3 to 5 more seasons, like if I was like 30 years old and we had gotten like 5 more seasons of like Rick and Daryl, everyone back together, Negan, and then that was like the end, and then they did like a Walking Dead Next Generation show with like Judith and stuff like that, I would be completely happy with that. I would be completely happy. Do you think Glenn will appear in Dead City? No. For everything I've heard about Stephen Yeun is he's done with The Walking Dead entirely. It pisses me off that Daryl and Carol never mention Rick. Yeah, me too. Me too. The fact that Carol's never said anything is insane. Because we know she knows, right? She has to know. Like, a feeling coming back was BS. I really think something happened. 100%, bro. 100%. Someone says, do you think most people quit at Glenn's death, Shane's death, or Rick's disappearance? Definitely not Shane's death. I don't think anyone would quit watching The Walking Dead because of Glenn or because of Shane's death. Definitely not that. If anything, I would say off the top of my head, um, I think Glenn's death had the most immediate drop off of viewership, right? Like, I think people got so upset at Glenn's death that they quit watching right then and there, you know? But I don't think it was necessarily because they hated the show. I think it's because it was like brutal. Do you think people? All right, I just read that. Sorry. Negan and Morgan are so useless. You really think so? I think Negan's like top 3 characters in the whole franchise. Not gonna lie, but Morgan is definitely at this point. Here's the thing: people don't understand. At this point in the Walking Dead universe, in my opinion, Morgan is a useless character. I would consider Morgan useless. I don't think anyone's that excited for Morgan to come back. The Mod Squad Network says Glenn's death. I agree. Glenn's death had the most immediate shock value and like, the most immediate drop off of viewership for sure. And I think it was more so, and maybe it was the fact that he died, but I think it also could have been the fact that it was so brutal the way it was, right? Like, it was just so brutal. I love Negan, but Morgan certainly wore me out. I just never liked Morgan that much. Someone says, do you think when Rick or Daryl dies, their death will be way more emotional and epic than Glenn's? Yeah, for sure. I mean, the thing is, I just don't see a universe where Rick or Daryl die. I think those 2 characters will make it to the end. And honestly, I could see Rick dying before Daryl, to be honest with you. I hate what Fear did to Morgan's character. Yeah, I mean, I never watched Fear all the way, but from what I was seeing, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I didn't know what was happening with that guy. Hey, Butch, what you doing, huh? Negan's got a hell of a way with words. Yeah, no, he does. Negan's great. Negan's absolutely awesome. I think for sure, guys, like, no matter what happens, there's definitely going to be something really exciting. And I think everyone is like, I think everyone is sleeping on The Walking Dead right now. because I think that there's a lot of like people who believe that it's like dead and over, right? I believe that wholeheartedly. A lot of people think that The Walking Dead is cooked and that there's not going to be any more like epic shows or epic moments, but I think you guys are really going to be in for a big surprise if you think that. The people who think that might already be too far gone. They might be, so chopped to the point where they're like, no matter what The Walking Dead does, they're going to hate on it. Um, but for people who still love The Walking Dead, you're going to be in for a treat, man. For those who still care. Um, Morgan should have died in season 8. Rick should reunite with Daryl. Why? Oh, sorry, I'm getting calls and texts. Why people want Rick and Negan reunion? Negan is Rick's worst enemy, or was. And Morgan never had really scenes with Rick like Daryl had. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they did to Morgan. Daryl is the one leg up they got on Kirkman, so he's 100% original. They can't kill him off. They're not going to yet. What people don't understand is there's a better chance that Rick will die over Daryl, for sure. You guys realize that The Walking Dead has continued to go with multiple seasons of Daryl Dixon. And, I mean, Andrew Lincoln's not even really come back full time. He's only done a limited series. And right now they're just really starting negotiations and conversations about bringing Rick back now, right? So, I mean, Daryl Dixon's a huge character. Daryl Dixon overall is a more popular character than Rick Grimes. That whole, if Daryl dies, we riot thing, that's a real thing, bro. Like, the Daryl fans are crazy strong. And, yeah, the ones who lived did great numbers because of the fact that, Rick was gone for so long. But Daryl Dixon is like a cash cow for AMC. Like the merchandise, all that stuff. Daryl sells way more than anybody. Daryl is a really huge character for The Walking Dead, man. So they're not going to kill Daryl off. Just off of the pure money alone, they would kill Rick before Daryl because of the fact that Norman Reedus is all the way in with The Walking Dead, and Norman Reedus is literally traveling to other freaking countries to film Walking Dead stuff. While Andrew Lincoln was like, I need to spend time with my family, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to be Rick anymore for now. But you know what I mean? But Norman Reedus is so loyal to The Walking Dead. He's like, dude, I will do whatever you guys want to do. I don't care what goes on. I'm going to film Daryl Dixon and be Daryl Dixon. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, thanks for the flower. I appreciate it, cat lover. Thank you for the flower. Thank you for the flower, guys. I hope RJ or Negan meets Strand would be sick, says Cody. Yeah, I mean, I don't know much about Strand, but it would be interesting. Thank you, cat lover, for the hearts, for the floating hearts. I appreciate it. I have that coffee mug. W Cody, man. W Cody. Dragon Ball says, I wish I didn't have to work, but you take care. Hey, Dragon Ball, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming by, my boy. The Mod Squad Network says, I believe Andrew Lincoln is only going to do cameos going forward. I can pretty much guarantee you that at least his next Walking Dead project is not going to be cameos. I don't know how long term Rick is going to be involved, but I can promise you that the next time you see Rick is going to be the Daryl and Rick reunion, most likely. But they are going to do a Rick show, and it's going to be Rick back. It's going to be Rick back more like full time. I can pretty much guarantee you guys that Rick's coming back somewhat consistently. The reason why Andrew took this break was to spend time with his family, and he's going to make that up with The Walking Dead. He didn't want to leave. He regrets leaving. He wants to get back to the season 5 vibe and the season 4 vibe. That's just stuff that he said in interviews. And think about it. really, The Ones Who Live could be a perfect ending for Rick Grimes, if you think about it. I mean, it's literally that story in and of itself, that ending. If you put that in a bottle and say, "Hey, that's the ending of Rick Grimes as a character," I mean, is that a bad ending? No, that's a great ending. He had an epic story. He got to go destroy the CRM to an extent, right? Take out General Bill. Had some badass moments. Reunited with Michonne, reunited with Judith and RJ. I mean, dude, you can't end it any better than that. It's literally a freaking storybook ending, man. And yeah, I mean, I understand why people think that Andrew is just going to do cameos, but it's not going to be just cameos, in my opinion. May not be 16 episodes. Yeah, Rick is coming back, Mod Squad. To some extent. We don't know the extent, but he is coming back, and like even The Ones Who Live season 2 could be an option. Fancy running into you here, Maker of Mayhem. I guess we're in a lot of the same circles. What's up, Chris Griffin guy? Yo, Family Guy is so awesome. But yeah, Mod Squad. Andrew Lincoln is like right now currently in like negotiations or discussions to return as Rick Grimes. Andrew Lincoln's always going to be down to play Rick as long as the story makes sense. As long as the story makes sense and it's something that he actually believes in, then he's going to be down to do it. The question is, you know, is the story going to be worth him coming back for, right? That it has to be a story that makes sense. It has to be a good story. It has to be a story he believes in, you know? Um, for the last episode of Daryl Dixon, it'll probably be that, but the thing is, there's gonna be like a whole different dynamic with the Walking Dead universe. Like when Daryl Dixon ends, it's not gonna be the end of the Walking Dead as we know it. It's gonna be, the start of a new story, and yeah, and I think from everything I've heard, Andrew Lincoln is open to being Rick Grimes again. Um, so yeah, we'll see. But I don't think it's just gonna be like I don't see them doing Daryl and Rick reunion and then boom, end of the story. Walking Dead is over as we know it. It's cooked. I don't think that would make any sense to me. They are literally gonna back up the Brinks truck to Andrew Lincoln's house and give him as much money as he wants. But I can literally tell you guys right now that Scott Gimple is gonna practically give Andrew Lincoln such a crazy offer that he can't turn down. There's just no way that he wouldn't do it, even if it's just for 8 episodes or something, 9 episodes. Like Andrew's coming back, bro. He'll be back. I can guarantee you guys. Um, I can see him getting involved in a new generation show when something needs him, but they may take backstage. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the new generation show that's going to be coming within the next like 5 years, 5 to 10 probably, guys. And then you're going to have Judith be the lead of that show. But they're gonna do some other cool stuff, I think, with the characters that we know and love now. I could be wrong. I don't have inside information, but if you guys know that the numbers that The Ones Who Live did were so huge that I think that the Rick Grimes name right now carries so much weight. Like I said, they are going to literally offer Andrew Lincoln a contract that he cannot turn down. It's going to be so much freaking money. He's going to be like, all right, bet, let's do it, right? And the story's going to make sense. It's going to be a continuation of the story that we all loved. It's gonna be like the new Walking Dead show with Rick, Daryl, everyone back together, Carol, probably Maggie and Negan. It's gonna be something. That's my prediction. You know, I could be wrong, but it's gonna be like a new Walking Dead show. Hey, what are you doing that for? Ow. Hey, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just pet her. I just like petting my cat and she's like biting me, guys. She's biting me. But she like play bites. She's not trying to hurt me. Hers trying to play. Hers wants to play with me. Tsk, tsk, tsk. Okay, okay. I'm sorry. Everything I've heard, which isn't recent, he's done with The Walking Dead. That's the thing, right? Like I heard the same thing. The time differences between Dead City and other Walking Dead series. Yeah, that's an interesting. The thing about it is though, like if you just time jump it, you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of ways to get around the whole time, different timelines and stuff like that. And I mean, obviously, we don't really know. We don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, for example, like in theory, if Dead City takes place 10 years after The Walking Dead concludes, couldn't you have them come back and in the Rick Daryl timeline with Carol and everything and Ash and Laurent and all that? Like in theory, couldn't Maggie and Negan be in that show and also have Dead City be its own thing as well, like in the future? You know what I'm saying? Like couldn't like say at the end of the Rick and Daryl or like the new Walking Dead show with Maggie and Negan, everyone back together, at the end of that, like that's right before Dead City happens, right? You see what I'm saying? Like in theory, you could do that, right? Could you do that or no? And it doesn't have to have those characters either. You know, you could do like a Walking Dead show. I mean, think about it. If you have Daryl, Michonne, and Rick, I mean, you don't really need Maggie and Negan, right? Like you don't. I do think Rick and Negan interacting with each other would be freaking sick. Maybe Maggie already meet with Rick and then leave. I mean, she moved to the other another place. Yeah, I mean, you just don't know. The whole timeline thing is confusing even to me. Like I'm a pretty big like super fan, but I don't really pay too much attention to the timelines. Think they would recast Dog? Yes, Cody, they are going to recast Dog for sure, which won't be hard, but it'll be sad because Dog was an absolute legend. Knew the Walking Dead show I'd be seated. Oh yeah, I was gonna reply to the Mod Squad's comment because he was talking about Rick being or Andrew Lincoln being done with the Walking Dead. So Andrew Lincoln never actually made any public statements that would indicate that he's done with the Walking Dead. A lot of them were just like fan theories and stuff like that. He never like publicly said that he doesn't want to come back or he's done or that, he doesn't have any interest in coming back. The truth is he's actually said the opposite. A lot of the stuff that Andrew Lincoln has said through the years would actually indicate that there's some like sense of regret actually with his decision to leave. And obviously him coming back for the ones who live means he still has some passion and love for that character. And he still cares about Rick Grimes and his story, and he still cares about the fans. And I mean, look back at that one little special they did with him and Denai Guerrero, where they were walking through Alexandria, and he was looking through all the props and everything of the show. I mean, you could tell this guy still has a lot of emotion and a lot of passion for that character. You guys know what I'm talking about? Did you guys ever see that that show? Or that little like special show they did? That was something, right? Um, My bad, guys. I had to respond to a text. But no, like what was I saying? Yeah, like Andrew has a lot of passion for the character still. Will he have enough passion to come back and do 14 to 16 episode seasons. Will we ever get that again? Realistically, probably not. As much as I would love to see that again, I would love to see the same Walking Dead schedule we had. I would love to see that. Probably not going to happen, logically. But could he come back and do 8 to 10 for a couple years? I think so. I really do. Especially with the amount of money that he's going to... what if Scott Gimple and him sat down at dinner, right, the other night, right? What if Scott Gimple, Andrew Lincoln sat down at dinner the other night like they just did, right? And Scott told Andy, hey, I have a plan. It's a 5-year plan. And then if you really want out, I can give you an ending that really finalizes your Walking Dead run. But I want you to be involved in this 5-year plan. We're going to give you like $60 million over the next 5 years. Like, you don't think Andrew would do that? Of course he would do that. RJ will hopefully live up to the potential. I mean, he doesn't have very high expectations, let's be honest. No one's really expecting much from RJ. Maggie, it's the Mod Squad says, and then they can work in why Maggie is pissed off at Negan again, meaning like she is in the beginning of Dead City. Yeah, I mean, there's gonna be something. They're gonna have to intertwine the stories some way, somehow. I don't know how they're going to, and honestly, they may just do a show without Maggie and Negan. They could totally do like a Rick, Daryl, Michonne, Carol show, Judith and RJ. I mean, that would be pretty blockbuster, right? Think about Rick, Daryl, Maggie, Rick, Daryl, Michonne, Judith, RJ, Carol, maybe Eugene, Father Gabriel. I mean, would that not kind of seem like the OG days? I mean, it would kind of feel like the OG Walking Dead days with Lydia too, maybe. And the one black dude with the little ninja chuck things. We need Gaby there? For sure we do. Absolutely, Cody, my brother, we do. Never going to be what Carl was, though. I mean, yeah, Carl wasn't really anything crazy either, to be fair. But, yo, guys, I think I'm going to end the stream down in about 3 minutes or so. I hate to leave because it's such a great conversation. If they need to recast RJ, just got to give him some time, bro. When RJ turns like 18, 19, 20, when they do the New Generation show someday for The Walking Dead, look, in like 8 years, 9 years, 10 years, they're going to do like a Walking Dead New Generation show where it's going to be like starring Judith and RJ. And I mean, maybe he'll like evolve as an actor, We got to give him some time. He's just a kid, He's just a kid. Give him some time and see what happens. Dragon Ball says, RJ is going to be a crack shot with Katana and Rick's brains, his mother's brains, and Judith is going to make him broken. I don't know what you mean by that, but I'm here for it. Yeah, absolutely, guys. Yeah, it's been a great stream. Nice little hour-long session. You guys know I like to get streams in with you guys whenever I can. So if you are new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications because we're going to try to get it cracking. I try to go live every day. It's hard sometimes, but I'm going to try to go live every single day. The weekends are hard because I spend the weekends doing other things, spending time with my girl and whatnot, but I always try to get some time in with you guys when I can because I really do love sitting in here talking. Guys, don't forget memberships are live, man. I want you guys to join. It's not about the money, man. $4.99 cents a month's not going to help me that much. But look, I want you guys to join up because I want to see if we're actually going to have people who have the freaking 10-year membership badge down the road. Because, guys, I'm not giving up on the YouTube channel ever. I'm never quitting. You know what I mean? No matter what. I'm not quitting. I do this for passion, guys. I do this for love. I do this for love. I do this for passion, right? So, I want you guys to join the memberships if you can. If you guys want to look into it, consider it, think about it, because I just want to see those badges by your names, man. I want to see you guys using those emotes. I want to see that. We gotta get this going. We gotta be the start of something new here. We're gonna do something great. I'm gonna become the biggest Walking Dead channel someday. We're gonna keep this thing going. All right. So you guys just do your part. Help me out. Support me. Help the channel grow. And we're going to dominate, bro. We're going to take over. I promise. We will someday be the biggest Walking Dead channel. I promise, man. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep making videos. We're going to keep streaming. We're going to have fun. You know, we're a family too. There's the Walking Dead family, which we're all a part of. And then there's, you know, the family of the Walking Dead family YouTube. And that's what we all are. You feel me? We're all part of that. So everyone that stops by, everyone that subs, everyone that joins the memberships, you guys are the greatest of all time for sure. I love you guys. I'm going to go ahead and shut the stream down. Stay safe out there in the crazy world. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. The world's getting crazier and crazier, guys. It's getting crazier and crazier. We gotta stay safe. We gotta just survive somehow out here. You know what I'm saying? It's getting crazy. So, all right. You guys have a good one. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one. If you're new, subscribe. Turn on the post notifications. I love you guys. I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Peace out, guys. I'm out of here. See ya.